so much going on in our county. We're really lucky, I think, here in Gloucestershire. And but it might come as a bit of a surprise to us, actually, sometimes, how much there is. Pantos, musicals, tribute bands, you know, even so many Amdram groups as well, where you can go and, if you want to have a go yourself, you know, get involved with them. I've been to a few during my time here at BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and they're always, without fail, extremely welcoming. Well, now there's an organisation in the county which wants to try and let you know about all of the great things that are going on. It's Gloucestershire Theatre Association, who are working really hard on getting each production, venue, organisation linked and in one place. And its chair, Phil McCormick, is with us now. Morning, Phil. Thank you for coming in. And you smile as I say that, because you really do know about some of the things that are going on in the county, and we are actually really lucky, aren't we, here in our county, that there is so much.
Well, Gloucester's really good at keeping secrets, and one of Gloucester's best kept secrets is what's going on, because trying to find out what's going on seems to be the big issue. And we got involved with it a couple of years ago when we tried to put on a great big production and wanted to find as many people as possible to be in that production. And as a byproduct of that, we created the Gloucestershire Theatre Association to try and find all the non-professional theatre companies so we could talk to them. And frankly, we were just staggered, even we were staggered to find that there was 90 theatre companies in the county, all spread far and wide and of all different sizes and all different qualities, I have to say. But it just seemed to me that there is so much going on, but you very rarely hear about it. So having got that production out of the way last year, the Mystery Plays, we've gone on to try and create a vehicle whereby people can promote what they're doing, we can help them to market what they're doing, offer them box office facilities and that sort of thing. Because there is such a varied amount of stuff going on, and it isn't just theatre, it isn't just plays, it's music, it's ukulele evenings, it's people going around the pubs at Christmas. The mummers did a tour, and I was in a pub having a meeting, and the mummers turned up and put on their little Christmas show. And the one thing that we said to the people in the meeting, who knew this was going to happen? And the pub was a quarter full. But if there was somewhere you could have gone to see what's going on tonight in Gloucester, and that was on there, you'd have thought, oh, well, we'll go out and do that.
But that is the thing, isn't it? That it often, I mean, I know speaking from my own experience, actually, of just, planning what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks, I often will look at the information that's most obvious. So for me, it's the posters that I see, or it has to be, or maybe an email. If I've been to that venue before, they might email me. But it's really difficult to actually be proactive and find out about all the little events, because some of those, I suppose that if you are a really small community event and you're spending all your own time setting things up after work, then chances are you're only going to maybe put up a few flyers in your village or in your town, and I won't hear about it necessarily if I live on the other side of the county.
No, that's true, and I think when you are putting on an event and you are a non-professional, you've got a day job, and so you're cramming in delivering the event, rehearsing, planning, as you say. And a lot of these people that do this in the groups forget that the marketing of the thing is equally as important, because it takes and this is one of my little pet speeches, it takes as much effort to put the show on, to perform to 10 people, as it does to perform to 110 people. So make sure you've got 110 people in the room. And I've been to some plays, even at the Playhouse in Cheltenham, that I would have paid, frankly, £30, £40 to see in the West End. They're that good. And when the lights come up at the end of the evening, there's 40 people in the audience, and you just think, what a shame, because it's, we've been through austere times, people haven't got a lot of spare cash, professional shows in big theatres in Bristol or Cheltenham, they're not cheap tickets, and yet you can have a really good night out, in a nice venue with nice people for £5, £8, £9.
Absolutely.
But nobody knows how to find where they are. So we're trying to create something that says, look, visit this website on a regular basis, and we're hoping that the BBC and the Citizen will advertise the web address as just a simple way of saying, go to this address, and you should be able to see a diary of events of all the things going on around Gloucester that you can pop out to for very little money.
And you mentioned there, £7, £8, £9. I've seen some brilliant performances as well that I've paid. I think one was Avenue Q at Playhouse was a big surprise to me, actually, because I knew it was going to be good, having interviewed the cast members, but actually that was quite a success in terms of it did sell out.
It was massive.
But that was, I think, something like £12.
Yeah, that's the Cods, and the Cods probably are the top end of organised. There's a lady that works for them, is a member of them, whose job is just to get the word out, and that's all she concentrates on, and she does a fantastic job.
But even they find it difficult sometimes, don't they, to fill out their the theatre. What about then some of the, you were talking, it's not just about theatre necessarily, or your typical kind of productions, but lots of other ththings go on, like tribute bands, and there's all sorts of performances.
Well, it was the original organisation that we sort of adopted was an organisation called the Gloucestershire Drama Association. That was the original group. It's been around since the 70s, and that was very much focused purely on the drama groups. The reason why we changed it to Gloucestershire Theatre Association was because we are open to all genre. So if you're a stand-up comedian, if you're a ventriloquist, whatever you do, if you're in a ukulele group, whatever you do that is a performance art, then this association is for you. And you can come onto the website and you can post, you can apply to get a password. We'll give you a password. We'll be delighted to. You can then post your events onto the website, and then we promote that on for you. So.
Because, of course, it's all very well trying to get people to go to your website to use it, but you need the events on there in the first place.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening and, you might be somewhere, anywhere in Gloucestershire, as long as it's in the county, get in touch with yourself and see if you can sort of link up and get a system going where...
Yeah, there's an application. You can go on the website. You can click on the right buttons. It puts you into an application that goes through to our administrator. They OK you, give you your passwords. You're in for life until we ban you. And you can post your events. And then the next generation of this development is an online box office service, which will be part of the site, where you can then sell tickets to your event online through the website. So it's to empower the little people to be able to do all the things that the big people do. You don't phone the everyman and say, I am sending a postage stamp addressed envelopes and a cheque for my ticket. You go on and book it online. So we're trying to empower all the small arts events in the county to have the same facilities as the big boys, so that you can draw people in, and that empowers everybody then to have good events.
Now, talking then about yourself personally, what is it that you like to go and see?
Anything good. Actually, that's the fun part of doing what we're doing, is that we're meeting so many new people. There's a little group that's just developed in the last year, three young girls, just out of university, having done drama courses, a company called Brick Door, and they're doing a World War I thing, which is a physical piece of theatre. They're appearing in pubs in Cheltenham. They're appearing at the Olympus studio, and the reason why they can do that is we're not charging them for the space. So we're trying to just empower people that want to do performance art to come and do it, and I'm looking forward to that. I like to go to the Playhouse in Cheltenham. I go to see bands. It's if you're into that, if you're in that sort of outside, getting out, seeing performances, if it's good, anything that's good is just good.
Now, we have spoken before on BBC Radio Gloucestershire, talking about a project that you're heavily involved in at the moment. I say project. It's a mammoth task, might be a more apt description. This is all to do with a venue that some people may know about, but not a lot of people seem to really use it now, but it's had a really interesting history. Do you want to give us a really quick sort of overview on this particular theatre that you're involved in, and what the update is on it?
My Olympus, yeah. It's feeling like a mountain, actually, I have to say, to climb. Well, it's been sitting there for 15 years and not really used. Most people, therefore, haven't been inside it. It's a beautiful turn-of-the-century theatre, or it will be again when we've restored it. It's a hard slog because there's so much that needs to be done. It isn't open. It can't be opened at the moment because of it needs a lot of work doing on it. The studio theatre is open, and we will be doing performances starting in there next month. The bar we use as performance space on an odd night-by-night basis. Planning permission's now just been given by the City Council for us to develop a restaurant and a bar and a coffee shop which we now are looking for the funding for. And we've put another planning application in to build a second storey above that to create a theatre space, a recording studio. And that is really what we're trying to create here is, yes, put the theatre back in so we have a performance theatre, but equally a social arts hub in a part of the city that could do with something, frankly, but a social arts hub based in the building with the theatre, with studio space, with rehearsal space, that then is a place that people can go who just want to mix with like-minded people or find somebody that can play an instrument because they need them to do something that they're doing somewhere else in the county. But very much as a focal point, the box office will run through there for all the events. And then from that we want to spread that out into the bigger project, which is the sort of arts quarter end of the idea, which is, it suddenly struck us that all the venues in this city pretty much sit in that end of the town, around Barton Street, King's Barton Street, where the King's Theatre is. You've got all the nightclubs down that end of the town. You've got G1, which the City Council say is Gloucester's potential big venue, 1,000-seater. We've got the park where we can do outdoor stuff in the summer. You've got the bus station, the train station. So we want to sort of create down that end of the city a complete arts quarter where there's always something going on in a venue. There's always, if you don't know what you want to do tonight, you just got to go down that end of the town, pop into the Olympus restaurant, Olympus bar. You'll hear what's going on somewhere else, and it's just to give a little bit of heart and a bit of life back into Gloucester.
I love the fact that it's not just, renovating the theatre. This isn't just a plan to get it back up and running. This is a really, really complex plan and vision, isn't it, for the area, and will mean so much more than the building itself, but for the surrounding area. Fascinating getting that update, and I know that it's not something that's going to happen with a click of the fingers. A lot of hard work involved in getting people on board as well in the local area.
Volunteers always welcome.
Well, we, of course, if anybody is interested in getting in touch, get in touch with us here and we'll put you in touch with Phil. And, of course, we will hopefully talk again as it gets going, because it is really exciting. And next month you said that the studio space?
Yeah, that can be used now.
That will start being used. And dare I ask you if there is a sort of an end date? Is there a date by which it should all be finished?
It's...
Even a ballpark kind of year, maybe?
It's going to come down to money. It always does. Phil Staddon, which is a name that will be known to a lot of people, he's an ex-member of the City Council and was a key player in raising a lot of the funding that has poured into the city over the last decade with the dogs and such like. Phil Staddon has joined our team as our sort of fundraising guru, because he knows where all the money sits, bless him. He's just had a successful application for an Anthony Priory, which, so we've got somebody now working with us voluntarily, which is fantastic, who we now need to sit down with now the planning permissions are in place and say, right, there's now something of substance, so now we need to try and raise the funds. But we're going to try and raise the funds for the whole project so that we know what we start, we can finish. It's not a case of going for a little bit now just to do that little job. We want to raise the whole amount. Now, that's going to take a little bit of time, probably anything between 3 and 6 months. We can start the conversions that we've got permission to do now, because there is some liquidity in what we've got. So the process will start, but obviously the key to this is getting the green light from lottery funding or whoever, so we can really get the builders in. We've got tremendous support from Travis Perkins, who are going to supply us with materials. We've got support from E.G. Carter, the local big builder, who's going to come and help us with the work. So we've already got a body of volunteers around to get cracking. I would love to think we could sit here in 12 months saying there's a pantomime on at the Olympus for this Christmas 2014. That would be fantastic. Let's hope we can.
Well, fingers crossed that it all works out, and I will come and visit the project at some point. Even if I have to wear a hard hat, we'll go in and we'll have a look and see how it's getting on. Lovely to talk to you, Phil, and really looking forward to the day where we can drive down Barton Street and see a brand new theatre there, but that keeps true to the history of that place. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.